When we are still, we are forced to face ourselves. And that's probably why there's so much resistance, because when you're still, the only option is for you to sit with what's there. A lot of times we don't want to do that. A lot of times it's super uncomfortable and it's super anxiety provoking. And a lot of times we feel like we can't handle it. But if we think back to all the times that we were in a difficult situation, we've been able to get out of it. Sitting still, sitting with yourself, having moments of quiet and nothingness, and moments that take you outside of whatever you're doing. So, this cat just jumping in the frame, and someone revving their motorbike behind me, all these distractions that are taking me out of wanting to articulate the right way. I'm noticing all these things around me and they're forcing me to be present with what's here. Also, sir. So I'll explain what it means to be still. Being still means you're not checking your phone. It means that you have created the space to just be, to just exist without any obligations, without any distractions. And for a lot of us, I would argue that for all of us, time is the most valuable asset you have to spend. It's the most valuable thing that a lot of people long for, that they don't have access to, that they would pay and do anything for. This precious, precious commodity that is time. Time is a whole subject in itself that I love diving deep into. I'm someone who believes that time is a really funny concept and definitely not something that is put in much of a construct as we have it in these boxes and thinking of it as one way. If you're someone who believes that too, welcome. You found a good friend. When we have moments, when we have time, when we have this precious gift of space, it's all in how we use it, right? So if we're able to use the time that we have for a good balance of action and stillness, that's where you find the gold. It's where you find really precious treasures that allow you to be aligned, be a lot more aligned instead of going back and forth and maybe continuing some karmic loop that you don't want to be in anymore. These are the spaces where you can break them. In the stillness, you find whatever lies outside of the constructs of your own mind. In stillness, we find peace. We find answers to our questions. In stillness, we find health, wealth, anything your imagination can draw up. When we are still, we are courageous because we have chosen to face whatever comes up. We have chosen to sit with whatever is actually here in our lives. When we are still, we stand at the battlegrounds and we're listening to everything that's going on around us. And there we have the advantage because we may see something we missed, or we may see something no one else was able to pick up on. Being still is not easy. It's not something that we are encouraged to do, especially in this society, especially if you're American, especially if you are just highly driven and highly productive, you have chosen to live a life that is exceptional. To find times to be still is not something that feels natural. It's not something that comes with the program, especially if you live this way. You have goals and ambitions. You want to do things all the time. So you have to find a way. If you want more from all of the information that we gather and experience in life, all of the experiences that we come to face, like, if we want to meet them there, if we want to have a life that we feel connected to, have a life that we feel we're being guided by, we can find the utmost guidance within ourselves. And we cannot hear the answers that are available to us and that come from the source, that come from the well, that come from all of the information that is available to us at all times. We can only tap into that when we give ourselves the space to. So finding stillness is a priority that you adopt when you realize how much power is there, how many secrets are there waiting for you, how much is there for you to pull from and gain some confidence and gain some direction. We can find these things, we can find these gems, these hidden gems in the sphere of whatever that space looks like for us to create the stillness that we need. There's so much goodness found there. There's so many juicy things waiting for us to just tap, just to touch, just to have the thought, the realization, the aha moment, the lightning bolt. Those can all come down. Those can all be found in the moments of pause, in the moments of presence, in the moments of quieting the noise around us. There's so much noise, and a lot of times we're not able to filter what is really for us or what is just being fed to us by social media, by our friends, by our family, by the music we listen to. A lot of times in moments of stillness, we can find awareness and we can notice what we've been feeding ourselves, and from that point choose to change it. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. I'm loving this. Girl! This bush is bushing. She's really the star of the show. I'm just a messenger. A lot of times we run throughout the day, we're going and going and going and doing things and checking off tasks and going for goals and making sure that we're hitting things, and we're just, a lot of us don't even have the concept of a siesta in our minds, or like taking a break, taking a nap throughout the day so that we can have more energy. To even have that be something that's a part of your day is a luxury, something that should be very much cherished. And so the concept of stillness, I'll say that right now. I'll say this, that I'm not suggesting that you take a 2-hour nap in the middle of your day to constitute as stillness. If you have that honor, that is amazing. If you can do that and you can fit that in, that's really great. Your body and your mind and your spirit is going to thank you in multiple ways. But even if you're able to take 5 minutes of presence, shutting everything off, closing the laptops, putting the phone in another room, turning off all of anything that's running, any music, any frequencies that are disturbing. I personally love solfeggio frequencies and binaural beats. These can be really helpful in moments of stillness, especially if you feel like you're spiraling out. They're really helpful for getting into the present, dropping into the moment. So even if you have 5 minutes to just sit, you may not have a huge grand revelation that comes down into your mind, but you just might too. You might have that. I don't think the goal is to receive anything. Those are just benefits. Those are just really special things that happen, especially when you expect them to happen. But the best thing we can do for ourselves is just to allow ourselves to become closer to ourselves, to become more aware of what's happening in our lives, to honor the time that we have and allow ourselves to have balance in between the hustle, in between all that is being asked of us in life, in between the action that we take, so that our actionable steps are aligned with our souls. They're aligned with the messages that we receive from a higher place. They're aligned with who we truly are. And you do not know who you truly are if you're never still in your own beingness. We each have our own guides. We each have our own purpose. We each have our own pathway in the stream of all that is, for us to meet each other, for us to help each other, for us to end up where we're supposed to be, to meet it and be ready for it. You'll always end up where you're supposed to be. You're always going to be exactly where you're meant to be, right? But a lot of times we end up in these loops and we end up in these cycles because we are where we're supposed to be. And we have the opportunity to make a different choice, to make a choice that's going to change our lives, to make a choice that's going to propel us toward our highest purpose. But we might miss it because we weren't aligned. And that's okay. This is what life is for, I think, is just to keep learning those lessons, have a really good time along the way, and get closer and closer and closer toward what our lives can do that will benefit all of humanity every single day. That's really sweet. There's a prayer chant going on behind me in the form of a song, and it sounds really nice. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm going to be still and listen. That was so nice. What a gift. So take the time, if you haven't today, to find a moment that is just for you. If you have, well, I won't even say if you have the time, because we all can make the time, even if it's just 1 minute, if it's 5 minutes. When it is a priority for you, you'll do it. When you are able to understand the benefits of what happens to your brain, how you're able to connect with the fabric of the universe, how you're able to send out your prayers, how you're able to receive instruction through finding stillness in your day, in your life, you'll make the time, if that's what you want. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you find the time the most precious and luxurious time to come home to yourself, to be with yourself, to sit with yourself and your guides and create the most beautiful, abundant life. Until next time.